Nave here was week 5 of the BTSDL Restricted Draft League. I'm playing against Nikki, who, like Chris from 3 weeks ago, really got away with murder with this restricted tiering system. U2 with Indeedee F-size spam, Trachyon with beat up Weavile, and the Hippopotad's extra drill sand thing are all very annoying to do 2 modes that don't have overlapping prep. Rumorin's typing is difficult for most teams to handle, including mine. Priority Bloodtender Tailwind needs to be respected, even if I'm not going to respect it. And Sinistra is a fraud, but Sinistra is also here. But before I get to the prep, I've made 3 trades over the past 2 weeks, one of which I did last week and didn't go into too much detail on, so I'm just going to get to all of them now. Move over here. You cannot see, this isn't the best way to display it, but still lives. So, the one from last week, which I did, I'll probably see the same things I did then, I know I did, but is Electro Distui for Glaceon. Glaceon was an on-the-whim pick I never expected to use, and I thought to myself, okay, I need a grass type. I'm sick of not having a guy who outfeeds the other guy's entire team, so I got a Suing Electrode. No Eerie Impulse is really, really annoying in this format, but I can deal with everything else just about fine. No Metal Sound, no Screech, so there's some other moves. Because I got all the speed control moves, Electro Web, Thunderwave, Scary Face, all you need. Now the second is Chandelure for Lycanroc Dust, so I got Electro Distui to get a Firewater Grass Core, and then I traded the fire of my Firewater Grass Core away, so whatever. Every team, just about every team in Ice Rider is hostile to fire types. There are circles that resist fire. Well, resist fire. I don't want to bring Chandelure into Palkia or Ho-Oh. And the teams that don't resist fire, it's often bad for other reasons. Temper has 5 fire types. Stonestorm's Calyrex Shadow Rider is twice as fast as Chandelure. Sure, Chandelure can Terra Dark on it, but then, CSR can Terra Dark on me, and then it wins with the CSR. And Quirt is loaded to the gills with things that cover Sol Galeo's fire weakness. The 3 matchups where I feel Shandy is good, Yoshi, Mike, and Doom Dragon, are all matchups I don't play. And I'm not going to hold on to a useless guy until playoffs, just in case I play any of them. So in need of a fast physical attacker that isn't Tauros, I went for Lycanroc Dusk. Covered Machine that also gets priority in Accelerock and Sucker Punch. The bulk is very frail and probably needs a sash, which can contrast with Sentret, who also needs a sash, which means maybe I can't bring them both together. We'll figure it out. The bulk isn't too dissimilar from Thunder's Therians. It's just like, Lycanroc is just a rock type, which is an awful fucking type. But speaking of Thundy, the most exciting trade is trading Thunderous Therian for an Amorous Therian. The plan with Thundy was Discharge next to Dialga. But what they don't tell you is Discharge is 80 BP, it's weaker than Thunderbolt. You're better off just clicking Wild Bolt Storm, and I don't want to click Wild Bolt Storm. 145 SPAD discharges aren't doing anything unless it's like Specs Terra Electric, and that's a lot to invest into something with mediocre bulk and speed, especially when I have to put it next to Dialga. So all I could really do with it is Volts with Specs Pivot and around and pretend it's a fake Miraidon, and I don't want to do that. I've got a third Persian for that, so we're getting an Amorous Therian now. It was dumb of me to pick the Steel Dragon Restricted and then never get a Fairy type, so I found one. There just wasn't any good Fairy types available at the time. Iron Valiant would have made a strong argument, but that went very early. Pheasant Deputy I considered, but didn't do anything for me, and then the other Fairy types are like Psychic Fairies, or which I already have Cresselia, I don't want that. So an Amorous Therian has very excellent synergy with Dialga and Ursaluna. Steel Dragon Fairy, when it's next to Dialga, of course, and when it's next to Ursaluna, you get Fairy Ground offensive coverage, and the bear can Earthquake next to an Amorous, which is great. I am, of course, worried that I've now made my team too slow, as I really tend to do. An Amorous, Ursaluna, Sentret, Hariyama are all, 4 of the team is a very middling speed, while Cresselia is at a respectable speed tier. It's at 75 special attack, so the lines around that are very difficult. And then you don't need Tailwind, you're fine, you can't do any damage, so it's just I'm speed controlling for really just Dialga, and sometimes Lycanroc, and then the force on that is a little hard to determine. I guess the weak link here is Noivern, so you're on the chopping block, buddy, even though you're literally Noivern. And my friend. But, I think an Amorous is natural typing and bulk, which is less than Ursaluna's, but it's a fairy flying, so it feels a little bit better. It does give me a lot more confidence she can function outside of Trick Room, especially when she gets Calm Mind and Tailwind, so I think that'll work out. She provides more utility than Ursaluna does. And, luckily for this explanation, all 3 of these trades are on this week's team. So I wanted to do something silly. I've been in coasting the playoffs mode lately, even though I'm only at 3-0. I could technically not make playoffs, but I thought it was something stupid because, like, it's, well, now it's like kind of finals week. I don't want to think too much, but. And then I went and refined it into something that, like, I think made more sense. And then the most important piece is just doing Electrode. I wanted to do the choice band explosion next to telepathy thing, and I went, wow. I put that in, I did the calcs and went, wow, this does fucking nothing to anything. Max Adamant, choice band, barely does 50 to Mewtwo, and it's like a roll to do 52 Indeedee. That sucks. There's a good few normal resists on this team in the first place, so okay, I'm going to change this to normal gym and have more support moves on this. But then the other moves didn't do anything. Supercell Slam, O-Code Primarina, Seed Bomb didn't do shit, but it was still Seed Bomb. It was still a Grass Stab. So then I changed it to Life Orb, and it's just right. Chloroblast should O-Code Primarina, Terrakion, and Max Ball Hippopotas. This speed outspeeds a Mewtwo by 1, and it's got a naive nature, because if I can't blow up in front of Mewtwo, I want to die with special moves. These points in Defense Bulk are to live a high horsepower from an animate extra drill that doesn't have a boosting item. It's going to have a boosting item, but better safe than sorry. Reflect is a safeguard against beat up Terrakion, and I think just if I'm in front of, if I park Collector in front of a lead, I can't touch either of these moves, I can't taunt, it's just okay, fine, I'll Reflect. I can just Chloroblast the Terrakion into the beat up Terrakion mode, but what if it tears? And I've got Taunt, the Taunt Imprisons or other taunt, pretty useful. So the goal for Electrode is to eat a pony and then with a Soulless Explosion, and then give myself a free switch into whatever Trick Room Sweeper is best in the back, which I feel is a very parody of myself kind of thing to do. Blow up my guy, not to kill anything, but just to get a free switch. I have a very specific line into Mewtwo and Indeedee where, like, Trick Room, turn 1, Electrode blows up, I set up Trick Room. Then I switch in Ursaluna here. So then the combination of Ursaluna without Guts Earthquake and Dialga Hyper Voice could be enough to kill just about every Mewtwo and do a bunch to every switch in there in Sinistcha. Now, it doesn't kill Indeedee basically ever, so I may have to go for the significantly more boring Throat Chop into Roar of Time to get them both, but, like, I think it'll work out. I think it'll be fine unless the Indeedee has Trick Room. Now, they could double Protector Terra Fairy and then I eat shit, but, let me dream. But wait, Hyper Voice. Roar of Time? What the fuck is this Dialga doing? Does Roar of Time get any Okos Dialga Draco wouldn't with this relatively low amount of special attack investment? Now, there's no reason to run Roar of Time, but I promised to myself I would bring Roar of Time once this season, and I feel like now is the best time. Fun fact about Roar of Time, it does not count as a sound move. I would have tried Third Spray otherwise. I have been challenging myself to move out of my comfort zone with regards to perfect coverage. You saw this last week with Downfall, where I brought Dragon Pulse Ice Beam, and I'm kind of doing the same thing again. It's a more noticeable oversight here, since there are 2 natural steals, Excadrill and Revavroom, but I'm going to trust Ursaluna to take care of them, and to an extent, an Amertharian. Flash Cannon is the best neutral coverage into the team, beyond, Roar of Time. Mostly the Flash Cannon is for Primarina, who is Dialga's only real predator under Trick Room. Thunderbolt could be better, it actually does hit Primarina, but then I'm, like, super duper walled by Excadrill, and I'd rather do, like, 30 than 0 to it. So I'll take what we can get. Continuing the parody of my self-theme is Covert Cloak Dialga. I always put Covert Cloak on Electrode or Cress or something, so it, or on Dialga, I imagine, could be a surprise. Parapsychic resists fighting from Terrakion while keeping the Psychic resistance. The Dark weakness, the Weavile still sucks, but will live. This 252 plus 156 HP special defense spread does let me live a Helping Hand or a Spear from Timid Mewtwo, and I realize that's kind of a stupid thing to account for. Because Helping Hand, Earth Power still kills. But I kept the special bulk on anyway. I feel like it's generally useful. 89 speed, underspeeds, no investment Sinistcha, but outspeeds no speed Vaporeon, which is sort of pointless. This is the remnant from when I had Q-Wave on Electrode over Reflect, and I just didn't bother to change it. I don't think it'll matter. I do not have nearly as much to say about Ursaluna or Amertharian. There was 252, min speed, stabs, and coverage. Ursaluna had Throat Chop to hit Sinistcha and all the Psychics and stop Primarina from thinking. Terra Ghost for no real reason. Terra Dark could probably be better because Sinistcha doesn't get one-shot by non-Terra Throat Chop, but whatever, I don't want to die to CC. And Namorous has Mystical Fire of Earth Power because Ursaluna is a ground type, but it's also nice to neuter a setup Sinistcha and try to weaken Mewtwo hitting out of Trick Room, Terra Dark to be immune to Mewtwo Psychic moves. I don't really have to worry about being the fighting when I 4 times resist it in the first place, and like one-shot a non-Terra Terrakion. I could have micromanaged their EVs a little bit, or Luna to live a no-item Terrax CC, and an Amorous to live modest Life Orb Psychic moves from Mewtwo, but like, whatever, I'll live. That's the that's the planned big 4 core. These other two, Rock and are set dressing to make it look like I'm doing a mixed speed thing when I'm actually going for hard Trick Room, which is a trick I pull a lot, and I don't think anyone's ever fallen for it. They still actually do something that, like, I think works, but it's a gimmicky in a bad way, but it is an improvement from Idea 1, which was Salic Berry, Kudzu, Tauros, that I realized doesn't work in Mewtwo and Sand. But Assault Vest, Terra Dark, the Tauros Terra Dark, so it's immune to all the Mewtwo moves. Then it bulldozes, while Lycanroc protects. Mewtwo is now at -1. Lycanroc Dusk can now Howl, and Tauros does a +1 any of these moves into whatever it's staring at and kills it. Assuming Tauros kills something, the +1 Lycanroc is now a big deal, unless there's a Weavile. The Lycanroc is Terra Stellar because whatever. +1 Wild Charge should Oko Primarina. +1 Terra Dark Lash Out probably doesn't Oko Sinnoh Jab, but I can try. No CC on this Tauros because I don't want to drop my NAV boost, and the only thing for the fighting here also is the one on Weavile. Lycanroc also has close combat, which I think is kind of like having to give up a move for Howl does sort of suck, but I think I like the Howl reward. I like doing that for the other option is Drill Gun, which doesn't do much better. So, whatever. So, what am I worried about here? It's been a while since I've made a team builder structured enough where I could say that. So, there's a lot of good anti-Trick Room tech on the other side. That was the initial reason I didn't want to do Trick Room, and went, okay, I'll be silly and I'll actually do Trick Room. Anyway, Taunt Weavile or Taunt Fletchinder, Imprison Trick Room, Indeedee, Mewtwo, Sinistcha all suck. I can adjust with Taunt in pretty much every case but Mewtwo and Indeedee. But if there's like a min alert on something, I die. Fissure, Hippopotas, and Trick Room is a problem if I can't remove it immediately, and it seems likely I won't be able to if it's next to Extra Drill. And then I'm putting my fate in the hands of 30% odds, which sucks. And Amorous is immune to Fissure at least, but, I can't Oko Extra Drill. Yeah, Excadrill can Terra. It's all still very annoying. Weavile Terrakion has a lot of annoying 50-50s. Is Weavile going to fake out? Who does it fake out? If it fakes out Dialga, I'm fine. If it fakes out Electrode, I'm kind of screwed. If it doesn't fake out, is it beating up into Terrakion or doubling up into Dialga? If it's not faking out, should I Chloroblast Terrakion calling that it won't Terra, or Reflect calling that it will Terra? Just a lot of little things like that. Something notable is that I don't want to explode in front of Weavile Terrakion, because this, if I Terra Psychic just to live the Terra Fighting move, a single target Rock Slide from like a Life Orb or a Hardstone or a Choice Band will kill Dialga, which sucks. And then, I think Setup or Assault Vest Primarina next to a Redirector Sinistcha would really be the only scenario that leads me to doing the Lycanroc Tauros thing. I think it's very difficult for me to handle in Trick Room. I think if it's an Assault Vest or a Blast, Electrode can't kill Primarina. I can taunt the Sinistcha, but then I don't have an entry point into something that can kill Primarina. The Dialga can barely touch Primarina. It's all very annoying. I can't switch in Dialga onto a Hyper Voice, Online Hyper Voice, supposedly with Terra Water or something. So, all very annoying. Primarina can also just, even a Specs Primarina if it's Terra Grass. Because if I see a Sinistcha Primarina lead, I Core Blast the Primarina, because fuck you. And if it Terra Grasses, then I die. Wristband, Spin Out, Revibroom, also a pain in the ass, and I think that's about everything covered. Just a lot of silly 50-50s that are hard to do with what's on paper, and I think we'll just live with in practice. We'll figure it out. Let's get into the explosions. I do believe most of what I feared was here. Right? There's no but there's an extra drill with Hippopotas, and that's what I was mostly worried about. There is in the Indeedee. I just expected Weavile, really. I mean, we know the plan. The plan was always simple. There's no Sand is fine. Yeah, this is the 6 I expected, and then I didn't expect Excadrill over Weavile. Probably made this team in 5 minutes. There is a very long time between the first and the last game here. I mean, when I recorded the video, there was a week with Whatever, I'm stretching. But I gotta play the 100 line. I'm on day 50. I'm on day 50 of the 100 line. There's something special happens. What happens is that all of your characters, they get a special gift from the C-Ray guy, and then the special gift makes them all really happy, and then they tell you how happy they are. But it's a lot more interesting than that. I'm not really doing the scene justice when I say it like this, because I don't want to really spoil you. Like, I know there's 100 endings, and like, what if the one I give you, it spoils you, even only on 50 days, because I don't know when the route split happens, because I'm only 50 days in, and there's 100 days. That's like only halfway through. Right, there's Teto pair. Good. I don't even want to. I don't care what this fucking. I don't even care what this fucking Terrakion does. I mean, right, it can post-combat me, but it's not going to post-combat me for enough. It might be choice band or some shit. As long as it doesn't trick room on me, I'll be fine. We'll go into Enamorous here, I think. Just to, like, degleam. Because the Indeedee isn't, Psychic Seed. So I can go into the... What's its name? Reliably, right? So that'll do 37. Her voice will do something. Go boom! Oh, wow. The Earthquake, and we're going to Flash Cannon. Because the Earthquake should kill from here, right? Even if I'm not burned, it should do 36. Yeah, it will be. Earthquake, we just... Oh, and they both killed. Sorry. We do that, and we Roar of Time the Incineroar for fun. Then that'll be fun for the Roar of Time. Something. I just want a Roar of Time something. Please let me Roar of Time. I just need the Roar of Time. I just need the roar. Just let me roar. Just let me roar. Just let me roar. I just want to roar. I just want to roar my time. GG. You roar on my time till I have to recharge. Because I didn't learn shit about fuck, right? Because I killed everything so fast. Indeedee. Excadrill. We're just gonna... Because what? We're just gonna do we'll taunt and we'll do this, I think. I don't think it makes a difference. That's fine. Ooh, my EVs were a little too clutch. I'm afraid to say they were a little too clutch. What does Roar of Time do to this thing? And it's not going to do enough to kill it. That's going to be funny. We're going to explode. We're going to Roar of Time. Fine with me. We go into you. I think we just gleam. We go into you. We Moonblast, and then we Earthquake. There's no reason to not. And it still will at minimum take, yeah. There's no reason to not do this. If there's I mean, it's gonna protect on us, and that'll suck. Oh. Well, that's not good for them. I mean, if there's a double protect, it's still bad, right? Gleam Earthquake still got this. If the Primarina can't protect, I guess it still sucks. I mean, it just depends if the Primarina has protect, it probably does. Nope. I mean, there's a maybe, right? Nope, not sad. Me. GG. What a nice, pleasant short game.